This is Open Ears, a podcast by Crash Ensemble. My name is Alain McFadden, musician and producer of Open Ears. On this first episode of Season 3, I travelled to the hills of Wales to chat with my friend and bandmate Brían MacGloinn of Ye Vagabonds. Together, we listened to two movements from Blue Haze of Deep Time by Jonathan Nangle. Hello, how's it going?
I'm very well. How are you doing?
Delighted to be here. This is the first of this series of Crash Ensemble podcasts, and I'm sitting in the van with my good friend and bandmate Brían MacGloinn.
Well, it's great to be here. So, my name is Brian MacGloinn. I am a singer and musician and songwriter, mostly with my band Ye Vagabonds, which also you, Alan, are a member of too. So we're very familiar with each other, and we are very familiar with the inside of this van that we're currently sitting in. And we're at our favourite festival, really, to play at, which is Fire in the Mountain near Aberystwyth in Wales. We're kind of in it's like the Vatican for the red kite equivalent of what the Vatican is to Roman Catholics. It's like there are hundreds of red kites around here. There's a big feeding ground behind us where the population of red kites was kind of rescued from. There was a really stable population of red kites here, and that's where they reintroduced them all from here all over Britain and Ireland. Yeah, it's
crazy.
Amazing. We keep on seeing them. Yeah, we might pick up their sound as well. They do a bit of a squeal every so often.
They're really beautiful. Like today is really breezy with the kites. They just are hovering, like we're just looking out the windscreen and you can see them. They're just hovering. Yeah, really beautiful to be here. Let's have a listen to the first piece.
Cool.
We're back. Felt like quite a journey.
Yeah. That was cool. So because of where we're sitting, I'm really glad that we're in this kind of a space actually. We're like looking at there's a hawthorn bush right in front of us. And it's kind of blowing around in the wind. And there's just above that, in our eye line, is a wire, like telephone wires or electricity wires or whatever. And there's just swallows that keep on coming and settling, like flying around and settling. And then at one point while we were listening, it seemed like they were really curious about what the sound was or something. They kind of flitted around the van and went from side to side. It was cool, clicking and warbling and stuff. And then I think there's something cool actually about hearing that piece of music while looking at like a hawthorn like in front of us blowing in the wind, and it's almost like it's being played by the wind. It's cool as a piece of music as well. Like I had a few things that occurred to me, but I found myself almost like imagining like a set, like a musical center to the melody that wasn't being played, So I was like imagining this invisible instrument playing throughout it, almost as if there was kind of room left to do that, which is really cool.
I think as well, sometimes I find when I listen to like contemporary music, having a bit of like context of what the piece is, and like I'm already imagining in my head when I'm listening to it like the sounds of the ocean or being by the ocean in a way. It's kind of like it sets me in a place, and then I love, even like you're saying, we're looking at the hawthorn, it's just like the sound of the leaves, and I just love the kind of symbiosis, the sound between the wind and the leaves and the ocean as well. And I felt like in that piece is very much like that kind of pulsy nature, like it felt like the tide and the sea, and like you're saying, the swallows all kind of having a go as well, caught in the wind is really nice.
Big time. I actually totally was imagining the sea. There's a lot of texture in that piece, like even the high parts of the strings, there's still a lot of bow texture, it seems to be a big part of it, which is very cool.
It's like I feel like there's like moments of like calm in it, and you're like, oh, you can imagine it, but then there's like I don't know, it feels like sudden violence, or like the kind of the nature of the ocean as well,
It all felt very natural actually, like in that kind of way that like nature isn't rhythmically structured in kind of regular ways. It's very irregular, and like there's, if I just looking at that bush, and it's kind of hard to distinguish leaf from leaf, and those kinds of cluster chords that piece is full of kind of feels similar. It's like there's like a indistinguishable beauty, like it's very hard to know exactly what it is about it, but it's great.
Yeah.
It very much felt like when you hear reversed recordings of, say, like a guitar or any sound that has like attack in it, when you hear them reversed and they kind of swell backwards, that also kind of, those chords kind of reminded me of that a bit, like it was playing with time, kind of live. Or like I wonder if Jonathan Nangle played with that as a composition technique and then rewrote the pieces so that they would actually work that way. I'd be curious about that.
Yeah, the reverse nature just made me think of the receding shoreline, that kind of like the pulling back and then the pulling in.
Totally.
And obviously like I was saying, from when I read about it, just like him, the idea of like having to stand still to see the movement around you, very much about that feeling of time.
Yeah, it's a good thing we're in the van looking at a hawthorn bush and a bunch of swallows and kites here. I think there's like certain, the way if you're cutting the grass or something, maybe you'll listen to like, I don't know, John Prine or the Rolling Stones or something that trucks along,
Yeah.
Whereas you definitely wouldn't be listening to that when cutting the grass.
Take you all day, like going forwards and back. You wouldn't get anywhere. Great. Do you want to listen to one more piece?
Absolutely. Amazing.
Another journey.
Yeah, it's really cool. The ocean is almost like percussion in that piece, and it's like a snare, like a snare brush.
You know what I was thinking when I was listening to it? It was really interesting how the instruments sound like all part of, like, obviously part of the one thing, but like not just like harmonically, but like tonally as well. Like the tone on the guitar and the piano and the brass and the percussion is like, I feel like it's tonally, it feels like part of the one organism, you know, like. And I was just thinking just very much about like the waves, and even the title of the track, the grey waves unseen, you know, that lie unseen, rise and fall unseen. It just like made me think of distant crashing water, you know.
Yeah, there's like also another similar to the first piece that we listened to. Like there was a kind of a call and response element without it being overly regular in terms of the structure, but like it felt kind of like foam, like when you see sea foam kind of land on a beach, you know, when like as a wave pulls back and the foam is there, and then that recedes, and then it happens again. And then in the middle of it all, I saw 7 kites swirling around in almost in that kind of unified blob as well up there, which is kind of cool.
The Vatican for the kites, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're at. They're on their way to. If this is the Vatican for kites, then Mass is at, I think, 6 or 7 p.m. There's the big feeding station behind us. So there's like hundreds of them swirling around, all saying the rosary.
Staring at this bush again, I'm like also just looking over there, and I can see the sheep wool caught in the branches kind of blowing as well. It's just very much like, oh, it reminds me of like flotsam, and
I'm glad that, it makes me think that just how important context and spaces are for listening to this kind of music, right? Because it's I feel like, obviously I write songs and I sing songs all the time. You play in that band, playing those songs, but songs with lyrics like that, they're very specific in their meaning, aren't they? You know, you're led along on a center track. There's a central story to a song, effectively, even if it's not a narrative. And you know, no matter what context you're in, you'll be following exactly that center.
yeah,
Probably. And I guess maybe with new music, contemporary music, classical music, it tends to happen in concert spaces, right? Like the concert hall, black box kind of spaces. But it's great to experience it actually in this kind of an environment. We're kind of in a natural observatory here in the van, looking out the windows at these things. It kind of actually makes a lot of sense. I'm really glad that this was the kind of the location that we chose to give this a listen and respond.
Yeah. We were trying to find what would be a good place to do this earlier, and we found like there was a horse box that was originally going to be it, but then there was some loud old time music nearby, so we elected for the van. It's been really nice, this being a quality viewing platform.
You would have had to get permission from Dirk Powell and all those Cajun players that were there.
Just back on what you said, I 100% agree. I think context really helps for this type of music and the type of work that I've been doing, that I would do at Crash Ensemble, like with my community outreach and community management stuff. When we like bring groups in for attending like the open rehearsals, often when I speak to them afterwards, they're like, when the conductor or composer or one of the members of Crash give context to the piece before it plays, it's like pointing you in a direction, like it's like a center to hold on to, and they're like, oh, that's really helpful, or like, oh, hey buddy, it's a lovely bird there outside.
Yeah, I think it is really interesting how that context matters. I mean, I was wondering to myself, at first I was thinking, God, I wonder if I didn't know what this piece was called, would I be thinking of it in such oceanic terms? But obviously then the second movement that we listened to there, where grey waves rise and fall unseen, that obviously has the ocean in it, so it's giving you that hint, I suppose, straight away. But it is one of the things that I enjoy about that music too, is that there's a lot of room left for the listener to engage with it. There's room to lean in and experience it yourself on your own terms. And I mean, that's how good songs should be too, right? It's how the song relates to your life, how the music relates to you in your life, and what meaning you can find in it. But I guess, instrumental music, there's so much more space for that to happen. And it's open to interpretation much more than a song where somebody says this is what the song is about, or not, even if they don't tell you what it's about, that there's still words. They're much more specific. I guess that's the point of this kind of music as a language, as like an emotional language, or like a way of communicating feeling.
Delightful. Yeah, well, thanks so much, buddy, for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
It's been really lovely. Delighted we could get the time to do this. We've got a show later on, so it was really nice to just have a little pit stop and think about the ocean staring at a bush on the hedge. It's been really lovely.
We should do this again sometime.
Great. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Alan.
Jonathan Nangle's Blue Haze of Deep Time is available now on Crash Records. The title music was taken from A Chell by Ed Bennett. Visit crashensemble.com for more information. Thanks for listening.